everybody. Welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. Today's topic is Mama Boys and Too Many Red Flags. Mama Boys and Too Many Red Flags. Before we get started, I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to all the new viewers, the new subscribers, and welcome to you who have been with me from the beginning. I really appreciate you. Now, to get us started, I did pull a short video. Let's watch this video, and we have a letter. And then we're going to dive into this topic. Mama Boys and Too Many Red Flags. Here we go.
If you are dating a mama's boy, my advice to you is leave right now. And the reason why I am telling you to leave is because you cannot compete with his mother, and he should not make you feel as if there is a competition. You cannot compete with the first titty that he has sucked. You cannot compete with the first vagina that he's ever felt. His body was pushed out of her. So if he doesn't know how to put her in her place, it should never be up to you. You should never feel like you have to address your man's mother. That is for him to do. And if he does not do that, he not only does not respect you, but he does not respect the relationship, and he refuses to make his mother respect you. She doesn't disrespect you because she's disrespectful. She disrespects you because your son or your man is not man enough to put his foot down. So if his mother comes first, then he should date his mom.
All right, let's dive into this letter. I would love your thoughts on Mama's Boys. I met a guy that still lives with his mom at 36. He turned out to be a 50-50 man with no plans for the future. I miss him sometimes, but I know us not being together is for the best. He is my exact ethnicity, and I have never met a guy I could relate to so well on that level. He blocked me after I criticized his life decisions. Is there anything I could do to save the friendship? Sure, if you just want to be friends. You don't have to date him. If you just like being in his company, then, see if he's interested in just being a friend. And if he blocked you for criticizing his ways, well, he may accept your friendship. He just may accept your friendship. Now, the thing is, you just need to apologize for hurting his feelings. You don't need to apologize for what you said, because what you said may have been the truth. But you apologize that he was offended by it. And you didn't mean for him to be offended by it. And just leave it at that. Okay? Now, you say that he still lives at home and he's 36. Now, I did pull a short video. Let's see what this guy says about still living at home in your 30s. Okay? Let's watch this.
I read some research yesterday that said the average male between the ages of 18 and 34, on average, so like 40 to 50% still live with mom or dad. I read this laying in bed, and my wife's sitting right next to me, and she's like, our kids aren't going to be here till they're 34. I said, we kind of kicked Andrew out about 22, 21. And she was like, I know, and I still regret it, and now I'm so happy.
Okay. Now you see, that there are quite a few men today who are past 30 and still living at home. Still living, not meaning that they left and maybe, got married or whatever and it didn't work out and then they had to come back home. And usually they come back home because of economics. If they've left, they come back home because they'll come back home and try to get their economical situation back together, and then maybe going off on their own. Now, What about the men who have never left and 30? If you meet these type of men and they don't have any plans for the future, it doesn't seem like they're building anything, they're just sitting, well, then you don't want to be bothered with those men. They don't have anything for you. They can't take care of you. They don't know anything. Now, I will confess that by them living at home and they're in their 30s, mom is still doing everything because that is her child, her baby. So she's still doing the same thing she did with him growing up. So that means that he is not accustomed to doing certain things for himself yet because he's never been thrown out there to do them. All right. And some of these men are looking to leave, but because of economic reasons, they haven't left yet. In today's society, everything is sky high. Everything is gone through the roof. So even to rent a decent home, you're talking upwards of $2,000 a month. You see, and that's for a modest place to rent, and then food on top of that and everything else. A lot of these men who are at home have jobs, and what they're trying to get their savings together and their credit together so they can buy a place or rent a place. All right. So they're still staying at home. But if you meet a man who's just a bum, and I call him a bum, he's just living on his mom's couch or whatever, and he has no plans of leaving, that's just his life. No, you don't want to be tied into anybody like that. Now, the other thing that you mentioned in your letter was that this man had the nerve to be a 50-50 man. All right. And many times you will find 50-50 men whose father was a 50-50 man or wasn't around, period. So they saw mom paying for everything. And mom never told them that the man is supposed to support the women. Don't do like what you see here, that I'm doing everything. When you decide to date or to marry somebody, you are responsible to provide for the woman, period. Okay, no, a lot of women don't teach their sons that. So then the son just hears it in the street, make her pay for hers and you pay for yours. So that's how the 50-50 man is born a lot of times. All right. Now, whether you can turn their minds around is another thing. If they care enough to keep that relationship, yeah, they'll turn just like that. If they care enough about it, they don't want to lose it. They're willing to do whatever to make sure they can hold on to you. Then they will be willing to forget about the 50-50 period. But if they're not, then walk away. Walk away. Why should you pay half to be with him? That doesn't make any sense. So you're just willing to lower your standards just to be in his company? No, ladies, we don't do that. You have to walk away. That's another red flag. Okay. Now you talked about with the mama's boy, that was living at home. That was a red flag. If he has no plans, he has no ambition. He's just living with his mom and dad and work some mediocre job or whatever. No plans for the future. No. And plus, ladies, remember, it's another red flag if he doesn't have what you have. All right. Let's say that if you make a certain amount a year and you can afford certain things, okay. If he can't match that, then he's below you and you don't need to date him, period. You need to date a man who has what you have and above. Now, there are men who still live at home for some reason and they make huge salaries. Huge salaries. May make a lot more than what you have. All right. Now, Should you date those men? They still living at home. In fact, I met a few of them, and some of them were already in the millionaire status, still living at home with mom. All right, never left neither. All right, so what do you do about those men? Listen, as long as mom is living, she's in charge. She's the center of it all. And if you get involved with him, then you got to deal with mom because she's the boss. All right, but at least this man knows how to take care of a woman because he's had to take care of mom. He knows what a woman requires because he's been doing with mom. You understand? Because if he makes a huge salary, then he is a working man. He knows how much things cost. He's not a bum, but he still lives at home with mom. And then again, I was looking at something about in the Italian culture and probably some of the other cultures. It's not the thing about pushing their sons out at a certain age. They're about keeping the families together. And in some families, if they can afford it, they have homes big enough that the children never have to leave. When they get married, the estate is big enough that they bring their families and everybody still lives. The son is not still living in his childhood bedroom, of course, but he hasn't left the family. I think it's a different way of looking at it. I'm an open-minded person, but I wouldn't automatically strike a man off because he's living at home. I would automatically strike him off if his assets don't match mine or more. That's where I would strike him off. Okay? Because actually some of these men who live at home, they own the house that he's living in. You understand? It's really his house. The parent is on the way out and leaving the house to him. So he's really in his own home already. See, there are a lot of circumstances that happen in life. And don't be so closed-minded that when you see these things that are presented as a red flag, sometimes you want to look at it and with a little more flexibility and not strike it off right away. And one of those things is men that are still living at home, which everybody says is a big red flag. Well, there are certain circumstances why the man is living at home. And believe me, if he's living at home, yeah, he's a little still taken care of and still being pampered and all of that. So, if he marries a woman, he's still going to look for that because that's what he's got from his mom. But many of these men are not abusive living with their mom. They're not, these men are not used to abusing women. And you don't want a man who is abusive. You understand? So there are some good points. Now, for your letter, let's get to what you wanted. You say he blocked you because you criticized him. So I say, if you want him as a friend, you all can just hang out and have fun together, whatever. You don't have to date or make it a romantic thing. It can be just a platonic friendship. Okay? Call him or text him and apologize and tell him you didn't mean to offend him. And see if you can, just have fun together. All right? I hope that you understand the message today. And I really hope that it helps someone. We talked about too many red flags. And because all of these things present a red flag. If he's still living at home, if he wants you to pay 50-50, if he has no plans for the future, those are all red flags. And some of those you never ignore. But some of those you can kind of look at it in a different way. You see, to see if it's truly a red flag or if it's something that you can compromise about. I hope you understand the message today. And I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you'd like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. And if you have and if you're looking for today's affirmation, the link is also in the description. I want to thank you so much for your comments and your letters, and a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best, and I really hope to see you next time.